reiterating what the Deputy Managing Director said. One, we have title to the property. The titles are in the names of the fund. We are in possession.
Then before you are in possession, yes. Did you pay fully for the land?
Yes.
How much?
I don't have the figures of head. My colleague, the DMD, can help.
It was 11 billion at the time.
11 billion?
At the time.
Okay, now.
Yes. So since then, there have been a couple of claims on the land. One is a claim by Temangaloti Estate that led to them lodging a caveat. So there is a caveat on the land, which was lodged when they filed a case in the High Court of Uganda. That case was finally determined in favor of the fund. Yes. We have since lodged an application for the caveat to be vacated. It is pending before the High Court, before the court. Temangalo has filed an appeal. It's pending in the Court of Appeal. So that is one matter. There are a couple of pending reconciliations with the former vendor. There is land that they are supposed to avail us in exchange of land that the fund took that was found not to be satisfactory. So we've been having negotiations, engagements really, with the former vendor, Mr. Nzei, for them to identify suitable.
Who is the former vendor?
Mr. Amos Nzei.
Amos
Nzei.
Yes.
Yes. So the fund has been engaging.
He is among the, was a tenant or he was a vendor?
The vendor.
He sold to NSSF?
Yes, Chair.
At how much?
The 11 billion. But there was another vendor.
And he received the money?
Yes, Chair.
When?
In 2008.
2008.
Yes, Chair.
So how many years ago?
But it's 18 years.
About 18?
Yeah.
Around 18?
Yes, Chair.
And up to now he's doing what?
So, Chair, that's the long history I was alluding to. In between this.
By now he's doing what? Has he provided alternative land or refunded the money?
So we are in the process of identifying the alternative land around in that area. So what the fund holds is actually the titles consolidated. We hold more than we bought. And as a condition for us to release the variance, he has to avail us alternative acceptable land. So in as far as the protection of the members is concerned, the comfort lies in the fact that we actually hold the title for even more than we bought, on the basis that he's supposed to avail us alternative acceptable land. Chair, I'm happy to report that we've been having very good engagements.
I think, Clark, we must interface with that. They said Amos. Amos, you said Amos?
Amos Nzei.
Amos Nzei. Then I think through your accounting officer, you must avail copies of that said land, the title, since you claim it is in the names of
Chair, the fund.
NSSF. We need to be certain. Okay, proceed.
Yes. So those are the encumbrances, and because the land is some of the land that is part of the chunk that I mentioned does have a few squatters on it. And those quotas are the responsibility of Mr. Nzei to sort out. Exactly. So as part of the negotiations, those are some of the issues.
Did you sign a contract of sale?
Yes, Chair. Yes.
Did it provide for how squatters are dealt with? And the period to hand over vacant possession?
I don't have the terms of the contract.
Please avail the committee a copy of that contract.
Chair, we shall avail all this information.
So from your recollection, who was responsible to deal with the squatters?
The vendor, Chair, the vendor.
The vendor.
The vendor.
Upon payment of the entire purchase price or part?
Ideally, it should have been upon payment, but I'll say what my colleague said earlier. Some of these actions predate some of our involvement, so we may not have the context of why certain things were done a certain way. What we are doing right now is our best to resolve these constraints, and this is where we are.
According to the record, what was done? They paid before.
So we paid. We got the land. We had the land registered in the fund's name.
Yes.
And as a condition for releasing a portion of the land, like I said, we paid more than we if I may, I think we paid for 270. Gerard, through your chair. Gerard, if you could help me.
I think Chair will provide this information.
Yeah, I think let's avail. Yeah.
No, you are still on record.
Yeah.
Because you are saying you have more than what you bought.
Yeah, that's
Please try to
Chair,
elaborate for us.
So, Chair, the titles we have consolidated.
You bought how many acres from Munzei, Amos?
Chair, these are the details that I request that we give you, because I'm on record. I don't want to give wrong numbers. So please allow me give you the correct records. But the fact is, the total acreage we hold is slightly more than what we paid for. That's a fact. Now, the actual numbers, kindly allow me to give you the facts based on the supporting documents, so that I don't go on record with wrong numbers.
So by Friday, you will avail the committee?
Yes, Chair.
With those records?
Yes. But, Chair, just to conclude the submission, we have been in very active engagements with Mr. Nzei. We've had the property resurveyed. We've had the problem areas identified where some of those quotas are. And Mr. Nzei is working with his team to avail us alternative land that's encumbrance-free. So that is the...
Where did you get the assurance that he's working with his team? Do you have a correspondence from him in writing?
Chair. Yes, Chair, we do. We've had meetings, we have records of the meetings.
I mean, correspondence. What does this correspondence say?
Chair, we have records of meetings we've had with him and his technical team, as well as our technical team, the surveyors and all that.
Away from the meetings, I mean formal correspondence, where he's pledging to look for alternative land.
Yes, Chair, we do have, in fact, it was,
which year?
was it 2014, 15?
So he wrote in 2014.
We have an arbitral award, an arbitral award where these commitments were made. And
so,
Chair, I will avail all this information.
So from 2014 up to now, he has not secured alternative land?
Not yet, Chair.
Yes?
Chair, if I could come in. So, as my colleague has submitted, the fund, when the fund paid, it got all titles for the land. But then there was another agreement which was executed between the vendor and the fund at the time. That one was what they called a swap agreement, whereby we exchange some of the land that we paid for, and then we get other land. But that one had 3 conditions. The first condition was that the land had to be good land. No, it didn't have to have low-lying land. It didn't have. It didn't require for it to be low-lying. The second condition was that it should not have encroachments. Right? And then the third condition was it had to be adjacent. Now, the land that has, over the years, between 2014 and 2026, where we are, the alternative that has been given to the fund has failed to meet the 3 conditions, which is why the swap agreement has not been effected.
You didn't apportion a deadline?
I think right now...
Because you cannot be in procurement forever over the same transaction.
Actually, I think right now, what we've decided, and obviously guided by our board, he has been served an eviction letter. Because it appears, Mr. Nzei, and
yes,
we can avail a copy.
Yeah, you avail a copy.
Yeah, because it appears the issue of finding alternative land is not likely to be concluded, especially in light of the 3 conditions that were set at the time.
Could you, the eviction letter should be form part of the documents. Okay. You need to avail the committee. Yes, Honorable, let's start from there. Yeah.
Thanks. The NSSF, to my understanding, has not clearly answered your question. The issue was you are in a rush to invest, as the MD put it. But what is the status of those earlier investments? And the example was the Temangalo land. You've labored to explain, but you've not hit the nail on the head. What is the status? This is land which was purchased almost 18 years ago. No investment. This is money which belongs to the public. So is this your method of operation? Secondly, they asked you about the policy you use to identify potential clients? Do you tout, as the MD put it, that you look in the newspapers and things of that sort? So if I dress smartly and I appear to have the money, do I qualify? Thirdly, fellow council, sorry, excuse. You ably told this committee that you have a court order. There was a court matter and it was determined in favor of the fund. And then you are telling us you filed an application to vacate the caveat. Is that okay legally? You are already in possession of a court order and then you apply to vacate. I thought you would just execute the court order and then move the registrar to vacate the caveat. You don't need another legal battle where you serve the things like that. The court order alone is enough to vacate the caveat. Much obliged, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Please note you're going to answer at once because every hand.
The monies of the fund. After 18 years, the legal officer here was saying what they have is slightly bigger. After 18 years, even if we look at the commercial rates, land that was bought in 2008, 18 years, by now, how much would that be if we are to protect the monies of the fund?
So you are questioning if there's an applicable interest.
Yes, because there must be a rate at which the monies should be growing.
So well, we need to interrogate the contents of the contract. The sale contract, you receive money, you don't deliver land. We can't, NSSF can't be claiming the same total it paid 18 years ago. I think your question is in that context. Yes?
Thank you, Chairperson. My issue is about the Auditor General's concern that the fund has investments in associates, 5 of them. And the the Vice Chairperson also hinted at it, but the MD and DMD did not answer that. I would like to know what are these 5 associates that the Auditor General is referring to, where NSSF has invested. And I'd also like the MD to bring the committee on the same page on the exact shareholding percentage regarding how much the fund has invested in those associates, and also whether NSSF has a representative on the boards of those associates. Thank you so much, Chairperson.
Yours is on the first issue of the audit report.
Thank you so much.
I guess so.
Yes, sir.
I think let's first exhaust the second, which took us to now the other projects. Then we go to the first issue. But please record his question.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Even the reward issue among the projects. Yes. Let's move in the line. Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. MD, really, how can that be? 18 years down the road, that pension house is still under construction. How can you really tell this committee? And now you are still at 83%. You're not sure when you will hand over. Thank you.
So is the tower being constructed forever? It is.
Thank you, Chair. Zahara Ririka, Machinda West. Chair, there are 2 confusing statements. I need clarity. Chair, the Director Legal says that NSSF and the vendor are in negotiations, mediations. And the DMD is saying that there is a notice to vacate the premises. So which is which, Chair? I am confused about that.
Which is which?
Yes.
You record, you are going to answer all.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Chair. My concern is about the report that came from the Attorney General.
Honorable Zahara assisted the workers MP
NSSF
to pull closer the.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair and the colleagues.
My concern is on the NSSF annual report of June 2025, and the Auditor General also, I think, went through, and his stamp is there. But when I went further, there is a record which is puzzling me, that in this report, I think as he was going through, there were some areas were left out. I can say, he said pages 8 to 11 intentionally omitted. And to me, I think there is something what was being closed off, and we need to know what was the problem.
Yes. Where are we?
Thank you, Chair. Once again, Eliabu Natulinda, MP Ndogwa County West. Chair, the MD in one of his submissions talked about 3 values. One of them is safety. And if you talk about safety, you are talking about management of the fund and investment. MD, on the matter of giving loan to Uganda Clays, I want to bring it to your attention that Section 30 of the NSSF Act requires you as the NSSF to do consultation with the Minister of Finance. Can you be on record and tell Ugandans whether you go to that consultation, and if it is there, can you furnish it to this House?
Yeah.
Chair, my other concern.
Are you asking for a document?
Yes, that authority from the Minister, giving them authority to go ahead and transact with Uganda Clays, because that is the position of the law, Section 30.
So proof that you got clearance?
Yes.
From Minister of Finance.
Chair, this team from NSSF today, they keep in hide and seek. They keep saying they happened before we came in. But I want to inform these people before us that the day you were offered appointment letters, you take responsibility over the management of NSSF affairs. So this question of coming here and you say they happened when you are not yet there should cease. And if
I think that is enough for now.
Chair, one last one. If they are not prepared, I think they can go back and organize themselves and come when they are prepared.
There is no way of dodging accountability.
Yes.
You must explain, and then we decide. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Once again, I'm Okuri Geoffrey, Ngoko South County. I heard clearly when the Deputy MD was responding on a question of what is based on to offer a loan, what they based on to offer Uganda Clays a loan. He explained that partly it was declining, equipment had broken down and was facing a competition. And they offer a loan to a successful business in most cases. So, contrary to the individual request, who has successful business, has the ability to pay, but you prefer one declining and has is fearing competition. Don't you think such an offer was based on hidden interests, hidden beneficial interests? Then how often do you publish dormant accounts of some customers? Some customers have remitted to NSSF quietly, without family members knowing, even when they have next of kin. Like COVID, some of them perished. Don't you think part of the reserve accounts, some of those members who subscribed and they are no longer exist, but the family does not know money is within NSSF? Then lastly, how do you treat members who lose jobs, but below the beneficiary age of 45 or 50 in terms of their benefits.
Thank you. Honorable Kawalia.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, mine is in relation to the issue of delay of the projects. First, I'm interested in knowing the cost so far, the amount of money which the fund has spent on the pension tower. Secondly, I've had members introducing themselves as people in charge of the real estate. Was due diligence carried out on the Timango land? If yes, what guided the fund to enter into that transaction? Mr. MD, don't you think that this whole focus has delayed the activities of the fund onto that land, yet the people would want to see something taking place as far as development is concerned? For some of us who pass via that land, Mr. Chair, we've been seeing cattle on that land. Who owns the cattle? Because what we've heard is like there's a court ruling. Amos Nzei is not in possession of the land. It is the fund that is in possession of the land. We'd like to know whether it is the fund that owns the cattle that is being raised on that land. Thank you.
Thank you. So, MD, who owns the cattle? Is there cattle? Someone is using the land?
I haven't seen the cattle, but what we know, and maybe this, let me answer it
No,
now.
no, just that one.
Yeah, it will help actually answer two questions that she raised.
Yes?
Yes, the reason why there was contention, on the title land we have, there was Mr. Z's house. He used to have a farm there.
So Amos Nzei stays on the land?
No, he doesn't.
Up to now?
No, he doesn't.
He kept cattle?
He wanted to keep the house, but part of the deal is we needed land that was suitable that the DMD talked about. When he's talking about evicting, we now evict him off that house.
So
it doesn't stay there.
It is possible that the cattle there is for Nzei?
It's possible, but I haven't seen it.
You, as the landlord, you haven't taken interest to verify?
Can I clarify on the cattle?
Clarify on the cattle,
Yeah.
because the cattle...
Okay, the cattle...
Maybe we can profit as NSSF from the cattle.
Let me just clarify, Mr. Chairman, that the cattle that you sometimes see there does not belong to Mr. Nzei. Part of what we do, because the land is expansive, part of what we do is community relations. Sometimes the local neighbors ask us if they can, the land is there, there are no buildings.
No, are you disputing the MD's submission that Amos has a house on the land?
Amos has a house there and few cows.
And a few cows?
Yes, but
so the member didn't mention the number of cows. Let me conclude this.
Chair,
we shall revert. Let me conclude this. Yes?
Just to consolidate our response, Chair, I've gotten my numbers now, so I can share them
for
you.
You respond at once. Let me finish.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Of the audit report, statement of net assets available for benefits. When you look at the note 23, investment in associates at fair value, you reduced your investment from 429 billion to 231 billion. Now, the Deputy Managing Director talked about the due diligence you do before you invest in associates. And from this, either the share price or the share value of the investment that you made in associates has reduced, meaning the investments are not doing well, or you pulled out of certain associates. So we want an explanation whether you pulled out. I've also seen something to do with Umeme. What is the status of your investment in Umeme? There's also, when you look at note 12 of this report, there is an overdraft. You paid interest on overdraft of about 1.7 billion. Now, people would be wondering how NSSF, which gives loans, is also borrowing. What is the status? Why would you give loans and also you also borrow? I know you are trying to bridge working capital needs, but then it doesn't make sense for NSSF to be borrowing 100 billion when it has assets of 25 trillion, whatever. Then I was reading about the Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority Act, Section 68. It restricts you from lending apart from members. So under which law, still going back to Uganda case, and MD said, yes, anybody can come and we'll look at you when you're answering Mr. Honorable Angoli. Now, don't you think you are breaking that rule, Section 68 of the Act? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, on issue 2 about Uganda clays, there are responses they have given, but I'm still not satisfied. And what am I asking? The loan was first granted to Uganda clays in 2011. The same loan was restructured in 2024. And the question we're asking, which is to safeguard you going forward, or for us to know whether the savers' money is at risk. If in 2011 there were no rules followed, what rules did you follow in 2024? And assuming you didn't follow any rules in 2024, what rules do you have in place to guide issues related with lending, borrowing, and loaning in the event that you want to engage with an entity in which you have shares? Thank you.
You? Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. Finally, I've caught your eye. And Mr. Chairman, through you to the MD. The MD earlier alluded that Mr. Zey, Amos Zey, is looking for land elsewhere so that they could swap, because it was a swap deal. Are you mindful about the location? Because land in Namugongo and the Kireka is not the same. When you go to Namugongo, the price is different. When you come to Kireka, it is different. When you go to Mukono, where I stay, it is what? So are you mindful about the location from Temangalo to somewhere else? And were these part of your discussions in your MOU with Amos Zey? This is something that you need to tell the committee and the Ugandans, because this is their money. It is not yours as an entity, but it's for Ugandans who are saving with the authority. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I earlier on asked entities that NSSF has so far invested in, and I can see on their page 39 of their document, when you go to New Vision Printing and Publishing Company, there is nothing that shows that it's doing well among other companies, because the trading prices are not even there on page 39 of your document. Mr. Chairman, while we've dealt well with the Temangalo, of course not conclusively, but still the Ruboa issue is also burning, Mr. Chairman. It's one of the projects that NSSF invested in a lot of money, and it's a white elephant as we speak today, Mr. Chairman. We need a thorough explanation in regard to the decision that was taken to invest in Ruboa, Mr. Chairman.
Lubowa, please, Mark Lubowa, for the appropriate response.
The MD, he was communicating to us. He stated in an easy way that to get money, even 2 days are enough. Even one donor phone you get. And when such big people are here before us, they give us information, and you may think that it is as cheap and free as they have stated. But moving out is different. That's where people can say, network, you must get a code, what. You know, we have even people, you serve who are villagers, like my people of Kamira, network can take 2 weeks. So you have such arrangement when take that 2 days are okay. So we need also just to be fair as you are giving such, because some of the things you are telling they are not applicable. So we want you to be genuine to Ugandans too. In Uganda there is always a handover function and you see people exchanging files. But here we are circling on these issues because where we are now, NSSF, it's the only somewhere people can just get some little money which they have worked for. But for you are using it, you benefit much, much more than those who are in need of that money. So how I wish that as you are before us, the issue of we are not in office, that's why some issues, when you use that as it were a defense. So I think that one, Chair, you need to guide us, that whoever is here is in capacity to answer and brief us conclusively without using anything of that nature. Last one.
Maybe to arrest your fears.
Yes.
The Constitution is very clear.
Yes.
That any public officer or accounting officer who is in charge of a vote, whether you are in office or you are out of office, you can still be invited or summoned to answer for any respective money which was spent or misspent under your control and direction. So be rest assured that the answer that we are not in office is subject to scrutiny, and we actually entertain it based on available evidence. And that's why we sought for additional.
Thank you, Chair, with your wide guidance.
But I hope you are done, because you have to move.
Concluding with the last one, as I stated.
Hey, please conclude. One second.
Chair, there are such arrangements of buying property in Uganda and what we have seen current of conspiracy or insiders when they are working with outsiders, so that they can frustrate the intention of someone who is having an agenda for them internally to benefit. Can you assume that for matters of Kajansi, Temangalo, you have somewhere where you benefit so that you frustrate the deal to benefit you as insiders?
Honorable, by who you are pointing at? Who?
The whole bench.
The whole of them?
The whole bench,
okay.
because they are here for purpose.
Okay, they will respond.
Thank you.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just 2 questions. One is still about Uganda craze. I would love to know which other institutions and organizations that fall under Uganda craze, and what is their portfolio, if you have been, that is, if you've been lending to other organizations like Uganda craze, and how are they performing? Would love to have such a report, so that it can be clear that it is not actually Uganda craze, or that you singled out only one entity in this country and it is what you loaned.
Yes.
Number 2 is about Temangalo. In about 2008 or thereby, there was an MOU where Mr. Nzei was supposed actually to compensate NSSF with another piece of land, about 104 acres plus. It's now 18 years, and this whole process has been stalled. So we are wondering, is there hope that Ugandans will get that land? Is there hope that that business meant to be invested there will take shape? Finally, Mr. Chairman, I really think that we need a more interactive time with NSSF, because there are many issues, and we will not get meaningful and sufficient engagements in just 3 hours. Between 11, as I can see, it's almost 1. We sat here at 11. We will not have a satisfactory engagement.
Don't worry.
Submit, Mr.
Don't
Chairman.
worry. You have the time for your issues. Yes, Honorable Kim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, there is an issue which was brought about, has been brought about by Honorable Sechitoreko, I've heard the lady, I've not yet marked the names, and another gentleman there talking about the period they acquired the offices and decisions when they were made. The lady said some decisions were made when they were not in responsibility of the same offices, and the gentleman said it too. Maybe it seems these people are also not satisfied with the decision which were made by those people which were in offices before. We need to get clarity. Are you not also satisfied by these decisions which were made by your predecessors? Because I've heard it, the lady complaining about it and the gentleman complaining about it. And like you guided, Mr. Chairman, can this committee summon the same people who made the decisions to get clarity of some issues? Then number two, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Owoli is a board member of Kajansi, but again is one of the decision makers in NSSF. Are you there as a board member to benefit the NSSF? Were you assigned to be a board member as a reason to benefit NSSF, or did the Kajansi clays benefit in this loan because you were a member of the board and also working in NSSF? And is it true that whenever you borrow money to one institution, you designate a board member to such an institution? So we need to get some clarity there. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, I'm asking a question about the beneficiaries. If someone was on a different scheme, savings scheme, and changes a scheme to another scheme, when does that person has to access the money? When is not yet already at 45 or 50 what? 55. Can that person access money if the savings scheme changes? Thank you.
Thank you. I think I've captured quite a number of questions. Before I let this side ask more, Board Secretary Council, please first respond to yours, then we move. The MD will now summarize all.
Project. So I now have the numbers. The fund bought 463.87 acres in 2008 from Mr.
It bought
463.87 acres from Mr. Nzei and Ama Limited at the time. And at the time, there was...
It was bought from Nzei and who?
Ama Limited, ARM.
Ama Limited.
Limited, yes.
Who are the directors of Ama Limited? Wait, you want to answer for her? Who are the directors for Ama Limited?
From my recollection, I believe one of them was Mr. Mbabazi.
Mr.
Amama Mbabazi.
Amama Mbabazi.
That will get the other details from the records that we are going to share.
Okay.
Right? And Mr. Nzei.
One director?
So at the time, there was a memorandum of understanding for the fund to swap 108 acres with Mr. Nzei to enable him retain developments on that land, because they were occupying the land. They had farmland and the house, yeah? So now that speaks to the question the Honorable that is seated next to you asked about, we seem to also, our views about the decisions that were made. If I were involved at the time, I would have wanted that the swap is done before the sale is completed. Yeah, so I don't know why that decision was made.
So you are not satisfied with the decision?
Ideally, but there must have been reasons which I'm not privy to. And that answers the question on our views on that, yeah? So
Okay.
what has been happening to date is the endeavor to have the swap done and completed. And that has taken a bit of time, including a process that resulted in an arbitral award, the swap agreement that my DMD talked about. And to answer the question, Honorable Luiria asked, sorry if I got the name wrong, My apologies. So you wondered why, yeah, Louis Rika, my apologies. Why I said negotiations were going on and my DMD said we had completed. So we've been at it for a while. We issued a notice with a deadline of 30th June. And that's what the DMD was talking about. So preceding that were the negotiations, including the valuation, the survey, and all that. So that had been happening. And when that didn't yield the results we were seeking for, the fund has now issued that notice to Mr. Nzei in a bid to recover. And then the question about the cows on the land, yes, part of the land he owns is his farmland. So yes, some of the cows are actually his. And the fund is looking at some of that land as the appropriate suitable land to replace, that is in line with the swap we talked about earlier. So I hope that clarifies
so
the issue.
you bought from Nzei
and
Amama.
No, and Amma Limited.
Okay, and Amma Limited.
Yes, it's a legal entity.
Then after buying, one of the sellers or vendor is still using the land.
No, they were already on the land, and as
Yes.
part of the sale, there was that MOU that provided that a swap should happen.
So they occupy the land?
Not all the land.
Part of the land.
Of the land. The fund occupies most of the land. In fact, that's why we've been able to develop the ongoing project, as the MD talked about. So we hold most of the land, but we still need a balance, and he still holds part of that land. So that is the subject of the swap.
Okay.
Maybe clarity, Council Tibeta. Why was there a need to make an MOU on top of a sale agreement? Of course, we are mindful that we've not yet got the documents which you plan, Province Avail, but ordinarily the sale agreement should be self-execution.
Absolutely.
Why was
Chair,
there
I
a need to
agree.
make an MOU to?
I agree. And Chair, with respect, like I said, ideally the sale agreement would have been conclusive in itself, including the land that had been bought and all that. However, for reasons that I am not privy to, that is the situation.
So
yeah.
Let's turn to our representative in Uganda, Clays, on the land. Your colleagues are telling us some of the cows, or all the cows are for Amos Nzei. Now, you are disputing that fact. Where were you getting your information? Do you have some conflict of interest somewhere? Just be clear so that our record is...
Yeah, there is no conflict of interest at all. And both answers are right. Like they have said, let me explain. The gentleman Amos has about 100 acres in his possession, yeah? In that 100 acres, he keeps some cows. The fund has the balance of 300 acres plus of empty land that has just started being developed. Part of that land, the local community occasionally requests the fund to allow them to graze their animals there. I'm in charge of security at the fund, so we normally allow the neighboring community to part of good neighborliness. So it's both correct that some of the cows are in Mr. Nzei's 100 plus acres, and some of the cows the Honorable could have seen would be for the community.
Do you have evidence to that?
I know it because I approve it. The fund approves it for neighbors once in a while to raise. So there is no written evidence.
Could you give the committee at least a copy of such alleged approval for any member of the committee? For allowing members of the public or any other person to utilize the land?
Utilizing would probably not be the word to use it. There are neighboring communities around us. There is empty land with grass in it. So
when did you last visit the land?
Maybe last in Temangalo, maybe 4 months, 5 months ago.
So you visit after which interval?
I visit about twice in a year. Twice in a year.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. Goes to the officer in charge of security. Whether his level of kindness has allowed the fund, even him as an officer, to even give the neighboring communities permission to construct paddocks on that land. Because
The land I'm talking about, they are paddocks, very organized. I don't think that can be done by the neighboring communities. Secondly, the land, Chair, want the legal officer to clarify whether the land that Amos is utilizing is owned by him or the fund. Who has the title for that land? That is our interest.
Thank you. I think we may be, and we may actually need to visit some of these properties. Because if for you go there twice a year, it appears a member normally uses the same road to his home. Now, and your colleagues are having different answers to the same question. Maybe we shall have to ascertain on the ground. We shall come back to that later. MD?
Thank you. I just wanted
on the land. Your colleagues are telling us some of the cows, or all the cows are for Amos Nzei. Now, you are disputing that fact. Where were you getting your information? Do you have some conflict of interest somewhere? Just be clear so that our record is...
Yeah, there is no conflict of interest at all. And both answers are right. Like they have said, let me explain. The gentleman Amos has about 100 acres in his possession, yeah? In that 100 acres, he keeps some cows. The fund has the balance of 300 acres plus of empty land that has just started being developed. Part of that land, the local community occasionally requests the fund to allow them to graze their animals there. I'm in charge of security at the fund, so we normally allow the neighboring community to part of good neighborliness. So it's both correct that some of the cows are in Mr. Nzei's 100 plus acres, and some of the cows the Honorable could have seen would be for the community.
Do you have evidence to that?
I know it because I approve it. The fund approves it for neighbors once in a while to raise. So there is no written evidence.
Could you give the committee at least a copy of such alleged approval for any member of the committee? Yeah, for, allowing members of the public or any other person to utilize the land?
Utilizing would probably not be the word to use it. There are neighboring communities around us. There is empty land with grass in it. So
when did you last visit the land?
Maybe last in Temangalo, maybe
Yes.
4 months, 5 months ago.
So you visit after which interval?
I visit about twice in a year. Twice in a year.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair.
I think that was on the Temangalo, Loboa, and the other investments that we had. I wanted to touch a bit on the issue around the reserve accounts and what we call the suspense accounts. The NSSF Act actually made a provision wisely that there would always be a suspense account or a reserve account. What creates it? The biggest issue that started off was back in when the government was privatizing a number of entities. For example, Produce Marketing Board, Coffee Marketing Board. What the auditors did 2 or 3 years after closure, they would go into this entity and find a line which says payable to NSSF. And they would send a check to NSSF without any accompanying details on such a member. We also found a lot of things that was interesting. Some of the people who worked in tea plantations, especially in Western Uganda and so on, were actually come from the Congo. But the money was being deducted and sent to us without registration. That, when we did an analysis, that were, I think, around 9 or 10 years ago. That number was close to 145 billion shillings. That number now has kind of stagnated around 45 billion shillings. And we do advertise. Now, at each end of the month, so end of the year, what happens is a lot of employers realize that they need to have their money in for June 30th. They will even send money without accompanying schedules. That's why normally you'll see end of year, there's a bump and then it goes down as the names come through in that case. Every account, every balance in NSF, whether it is in the reserve account, when we declare interest, we apply interest on that account. I tell people jokingly that NSF is a place where you will not lose money. If you have a grandchild who comes and, my grandfather used to work in Produce Marketing Board, here's the documentation we have and so on, this is what was, we'll go back in that reserve account. Now, the law requires that we have to go to the Minister of Finance to get permission to then pay that member. But it doesn't matter how many generations there will be. If somebody shows up with the documentation to prove that his great-grandfather, great-grandmother worked in a certain entity, and they've never got the money, and they can give us the documentation for that, they'll get paid. So in essence, this is because the money doesn't go to the consolidated fund. And we apply interest on that money every year when we declare interest. So that no member is disadvantaged because the money is in it. We run dormant fund announcements once a year. I think we're just getting ready to run another one, so that we try to remind people. Sometimes we only have one name. We'll try to do that. Please come, bring your documentation. Let's see what you have. See if maybe you have your money.
When did you last make such announcement?
Jeffrey, when did we do it? We have.
The last time? No. Let's get here. Yeah. When did you last make the announcement for money on dormant accounts?
Chair, we last did one for the financial that just ended. Exactly. Because it is a requirement of the law for us to publish the dormant account on an annual basis. Yes. So even for the year that ended June, we published, and that evidence can be.
You published it in June or within the year?
No. I'm saying for the year that just ended June, we published within the year. I may not give you the real month or date, but that evidence is available.
We need a copy of that advert. What about for the previous year, the year in audit in question?
We did as well, because it is a requirement of the law that annually
we need both for publish 2024, 2025, and 2025, not 2026. The member wants to know what do you include?
So we include the name of the individual. We include the company where they worked. We cannot include the rest of the details because they are very private, details. We can't put the balances in the notice, but it's simply your name and the company where you worked. Pardon? Which number?
Well,
no. Because for the suspense account, this person doesn't have a number. Okay, for the dormant account now, Chair.
No, please take us slow. Now, For those who you say don't have a number, how do you arrive at that? Before we go into
Thank you, Chair.
the depots. You proceed. You are
So,
protected.
Chair, just for context,
Yes.
there is a difference between the suspense account and the dormant, account.
Yes.
For dormant accounts, under the law, there are people that qualified and took their money. But for some reason, additional money came onto their account. We are required to publish such that such people can come for that additional money. Okay? Now, suspense account relates to unallocated contributions. Today, we can grant the audit an entity 7 years ago. And from the audit findings, we discovered that there were people employed there whose monies were never remitted. We've got an obligation to recover their money. So when we recover their money and you do not have an NSSF number, that money is what is kept on the suspense account.
Now,
also,
before you proceed, if it arises in that way, it means the entity you saw audit would be in position to provide names of the beneficiaries. Why wouldn't you now make a pronouncement that includes the beneficiaries' names?
And Chair,
even though they may not have accounts.
Chair, we include the names when it's a publication for suspense account.
Have you ever made a publication for suspense account?
Yes, and we'll give you that as well.
When was it made?
Last financial we did, and there.
So we also need copies of those two.
Yeah.
Conclude on that point.
Chair, through you. So, Chair.
Through you, Chair. Let him conclude on that point before then we'll engage him.
So, Chair, what I was explaining is that we've got an obligation to recover that money on behalf of the member, even when that member is not available. It is then our duty as NSSF to undertake efforts to look for those members. Now, when you look at the amounts that the MD, talked about, the fact that that amount gradually has gone down, it means that indeed we managed to trace these individuals, register them, transfer that money from the suspense account to their individual account, run their interest for the years that the money was with the fund. And if they qualify, they put in a claim. If they don't qualify, the account keeps with the fund.
MD, complete the first questions before I open up.
Okay, thank you. Yes, that Chair, you wanted me to touch on. This is basically the forex expenditures, or these are not transactions. If you go, when you look at the page 31, which is basically a detail of where that is, it is not due to transactions. And two things, you look at it through two numbers. The number on top in that 8, there is fair value gains of 649 billion shillings, and then FX losses of 273 billion. You look at them together because they kind of work together. Where does an FX loss arise from? Last year, in 2025, the Uganda shilling appreciated against mainly the Kenya shilling. And to give you the easiest example is, if at the beginning of the year, the exchange rate between the Uganda shilling and the Kenya shilling is, I need 30 Uganda shillings to buy 1 Kenya shilling. And I want to buy a cow in Kenya, which costs 10,000 Kenya shillings. It means I need to get 300,000 Uganda shillings, exchange it at 30 shillings per exchange, and go buy that cow in Kenya at 10,000 shillings. So on my books, because we keep the books in Uganda shillings, I record that cow at 300,000 shillings as an asset. Let's say at the end of the year, the Uganda shilling has appreciated. Now, I don't need 30 shillings to buy 1 Kenya shillings. I only need 25. Now, in my books, because I keep the books I have to revalue that cow. So now in my books, I will carry that cow at 250,000 Uganda shillings. I still have the cow. I didn't sell the cow at all. So that doesn't mean there was no transaction. It's just because of accounting rules require that I need to be able to do valuation based on market based on FX rates. So that's what this section is all about. It's not about that we're dealing or transacting or in the exchange rates to do this. It's just because we do have assets in Kenya, in Tanzania, and the exchange rates don't stay stagnant throughout the year. They keep on going down. Fortunately, this year now, this is where it sounds almost unpatriotic. This year, 2026, the Uganda shilling has depreciated against the Kenya shillings. So guess what? This position is reversed now this year. Because now I need more Uganda shillings to buy one Kenya shilling than I need the year before. That's the explanation behind all these FX rates, and I hope it makes it a bit
because from your books, you made a loss in foreign exchange of 208 billion. 273.
Yeah.
273.
Yes.
273 billion.
Yes.
To an ordinary Ugandan, this.
But I also made a gain of 649. If you look
made
at
a gain of what?
649 billion.
649 billion.
So that's why you need to look at section.
Could you?
Totality. No. Now that's just gains. I bought a share of stocks, say Safaricom, at 29 shillings, 29 Kenya shillings. At the end of the year, it has appreciated.
Now,
So
to your recollection, please assist us with a breakdown. How did this 270 something billion arise?
No, it's actually here. It's telling you we have a stock of assets we hold in Kenya, for example.
Is it in Kenya or you are using it as an example?
No, actually we invested in Kenya and Tanzania.
Okay.
And they have their own currencies. So what happens is at the end of each year you have got a valuation because your currencies are not trading at parity. And the accounting rules require that you reflect that in your books. But the asset is still there. We didn't sell the asset at all. It's still there.
Okay.
I don't know that. Yeah, I'm going to
I wanted them to finish these
we're
responses.
here.
Then it tackles the first issue.
So does that provide enough explanation?
I want you. What you do, you answer all these questions.
Right.
Then quickly respond to also the first issue within the OT report, which covers those investments.
Okay.
So that the next round covers.
Okay.
Both.
So now, investment associates on which you raise, that's on page, I think, note 23, if I recall.
No, I wanted you to answer it in this way. First, respond to the audit query itself.
Yes.
Then go to the detailed response.
Okay. The audit query.
But that's in case the questions that you have answered all. It was one. Okay, what you do? Proceed and respond to the first issue.
Okay.
Within the OT report.
The first issue on the report was basically that we did not have terms of reference for people we send to our investing companies to represent the fund. What are their responsibilities? What should they do? And took a while to go because the rules are a bit different. For example, the rules, whereas if you invest in a company and you're a board member, the confidentiality rules of that company sometimes are even governed by the Capital Markets Authority. For example, if you're a board member on a company that's listed on Uganda Stock Exchange, you can't have a discussion in the boardroom, then come and blabber out here. It will be against the rules. So the question is, what would we need to do so that they could be? So the paper that came out here for that we have drafted takes into mind that is where they can come, report back, do whatever needs to be done without violating their responsibilities in terms of confidentiality is concerned in that company. So that's basically what the auditors were just saying, that we needed to come up with some guidance on what people we send to represent us in different companies, their responsibilities, how we pick them, so that there's a bit of a formality in how we do that.
I don't find it as just a formality, because now that we're identifying concerns within some of these entities, this would guide on how NSSF is able represented, and more so wherever it invests. I can see the Auditor General stated, I noted that the fund lacked documented terms of reference or guidelines specifying the role, authority, and responsibilities of the fund, board representatives in associate companies, and how the fund's significant influence would be exercised. For example, you'll find that you are the majority shareholder in some company. But the person you send doesn't have terms of reference.
No, and that's what we cured.
How did you cure it?
There is a draft right after that on page, I think, We shared actually the
draft?
terms. Yeah, it's here.
Is it,
we shared it.
in which document?
I can share it with you.
The small file?
It is, no, not that one. It's actually part of the, part of the part we shared.
Yes?
Yes.
So,
yeah, yes.
When was
this? Was basically we drafted it this year. We already said
by this year you mean which month?
2026. We are doing 2026 that we did. That's what drafted.
Yes.
Yeah.
At what level is it?
No, I think it's going now for final board. It's going for board approval for them to sign off.
Has it appeared before the board?
No, not yet. The board is meeting on the next month, 13th of August.
How frequent does the board sit?
4 times.
4 times.
Yeah.
Has it sat this year?
It has. But like I said, the number of things we needed to consider, we even went as far as other markets. What do they have? We looked at what the UK does, what South Africa, the king governance, what do they require, how do they do it? So what we ended up with was quite a comprehensive document.
So in absence of this, the representative sign what? What do you execute with the, for example, he represents us in Uganda or NSSF.
Yes.
In Uganda case. What document did he execute?
When he goes there, the Uganda clays will normally have a document that they have to sign as board members of Uganda clays.
I mean on behalf of NSSF, what does he sign? He just receives the appointment.
There's a letter that we sent to them. You've been appointed to go here, or you've been nominated to go to this.
Without terms of reference?
No, it was, that's what the auditor had an issue with, that we didn't have it written out clearly. That was the problem of the auditor, and that's what we've cured in this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when do you expect to table this?
13th.
That?
13th. We've tabled it. It's before the board for the next meeting. So we should, of August. Of August, yes. So we can give you answer. If we authorize, we can send it to you.
So has it been itemized among the issues? Who arranges the agenda for the board?
Okay. Yeah. They should.
Please come in.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I confirm that the review of those guidelines is an agenda item to be considered in the upcoming board.
Yeah. So you're already working on the draft agenda, or?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, you cannot proceed and answer the arising questions related to that.
All right. Now, then the question that raised now about the movement of the balances in associate. Let me go to, that was page 23. Not. This is actually in the note 23. If you notice, in 2024, the total amount in terms of what was invested in associates was 429 billion shillings. End of June 2025, that number was 231,851. Now, it all boils down to that animal we call umeme. As you know, last year, the what was that? The concession with between Uganda and umeme was not renewed. It did a couple of things. Suddenly, umeme is not trading anymore. So whatever share price it was having, basically kind of froze. In accounting terms, we have to be able to reflect that in our books, because you can't continue carrying umeme at last year's value when you have events that have occurred this year that would be having exactly. Would have basically an asset, which there's a member here who said that NSF overvalues his asset. I'll touch a little bit about that one. So that caused basically we had to write down the umeme balances to 117 billion shillings because of that event. Now there's still arbitration going on. If umeme is able to get the money they want from the government, they are going to have to give us our share, which means that then that income then will be recognized at that point in time as it was. So that was a big one. Then the other thing that was interesting is Women then also goes ahead and sends us a dividend check of 101,388. Now, for the accountants in this room, under accounting for associates, when you get a dividend is considered a reduction in your part of the earnings from that entity. Usually when, let's say I own 30% of a certain entity, I'm using accounting for investments, they earn 100 million shillings. The accounting law says I take 30% of 100 million shillings, which is 30 million shillings. I book that as income on my side, on my books. But when they pay dividends, I have to reduce that income on my side. So so what you find is the accounting rules playing in here that now made that balance come down from the 429 billion to 231 billion in that case. So all of it was women. I hope that. Then finally, the thing I want to touch on, the gentleman, one member told us that we overvalue our properties. Sir, we don't. Because this valuation is not done by us. This valuation are done by professionals, and the auditors, before they can accept a valuation, they do some kind of testing to make sure that it is there. Usually, for most cases, if you have land in Luboa, the price or the value of the land will go up, but by a reasonable percentage. You can't go and say, shoot, my friend, it's going to by 10% without evidence. Also, something could happen in Luboa that brings the price of that land down. For example, we discover that in the 1960s, it was a nuclear dump site, which means its value has just gone down. So there is where it can go down depending on what the events have taken place. But usually it's a reasonable basis under which that is done. Thank you, sir. Guidelines? No, what we'll share with you is the investment policy that we have, because that guides everything. Oh, yeah, that one we have. That one we have. Yeah.
Through you, Chair, we will share the investment policy, but that one is also operationalized by an investment procedures manual. So we'll share both documents.
Okay.
Thank you. Now I want to move, but it appears the person in charge of security at Temangalo goes there twice a year. So I want to instruct you to first visit Temangalo land and give this committee a report on the status, the encroachers, the users, with enabling proof to guide the committee on our next course of action over that land. It is Temangalo, and they can give you the plot and the block so that you don't go to a wrong land. Which plot is it?
We'll give you details.
We'll give you all the details. Copies with the title and everything you can have.
Yeah, for purposes of the police.
Sure.
The council knows the plot and block.
Yeah.
Yes? Use the microphone.
Chair, just 1 minute. I'm checking my records.
Yeah. Well, let her check her records and tell us the plot and block. The police needs to do their work in time.
Chair, a quick one before you go to figures.
We are coming to figures.
Before you go to figures.
Wait, you ask within, but I'm opening up for figures as well.
Okay.
Chair, sorry, Chair, kindly allow me to share the details after.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please, police follow up with her for the details. For the details, she's cross-checking. Now, I'm opening Angaro, goes there twice a year. So I want to instruct you to first visit Angaro land and give this committee a report on the status, the encroachers, the users, with enabling proof to guide the committee on our next course of action over that land. It is Temangalo, and they can give you the plot and the block so that you don't go to a wrong land. Which plot is it?
We'll give you details.
We'll give you all the details. Copies with the title and everything you can have.
Yeah, for purposes of the police. The council knows the plot and block.
Maturities of deposits to the commercial banks maturing after 3 months. It is note 16. You follow the column for note.
Yeah.
You'll see 16. It's on page 15.
Yep, I see the note. I see page 16, note 16.
Note 16, but
Yes.
first go to page 15, where is the cash flow statement.
Yes.
Yeah, so have you seen that?
Yes.
That note 16?
Yep.
The figure there is 639 billion.
Yes.
Then for the other year, it is 930 billion.
Correct.
Now let's go to note 16 itself, on page 47. Page 47. Note 47.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you go to page 47 at the bottom, there is, page 47, where there's note 16, deposits to the commercial banks.
Okay, it's 37. It's
Okay, maybe for you.
Page 37.
For us, ours
is 47. Okay, all right.
deposits to the commercial banks.
Okay.
Now, when you look at the bottom, there's 2025, then 2024.
Correct.
There's at the beginning of the year, then the new placements, then there's also number 3, maturities. You have seen the maturities at the bottom. Ours is page 47, note 16. Look for note 16. It is on page 47.
Page 47. No, that's not the one.
You can go, you cross, you cross and give them your copy maybe, so that we match.
Identify the document, then the page. Maybe we are having different documents. Which document?
The financial report.
No, it's secretariat. You have a copy. I've read them a similar copy, so that we follow the same document. You receive so that you follow the page.
Yeah. We have. No. Okay, we've seen it. It's here. And this one. Yeah, that's fine. Makes sense. Yeah,
but also leave them with that, so that when the information is the page, they can cross check.
Okay.
So on page 47, at the bottom, maturities, the figure there is 786 billion. Then the other one, for 2024, it is 930.
Yeah. 836.
Page 47. Have you seen that figure, 786?
This 639. What's the difference between the two numbers? Find out the numbers.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, we've seen it. We just want to try to get the difference so we can tell you, we can share.
Yeah, okay, the difference is 146 billion. That's the difference between the two numbers. The difference between 639 and 786 is 146 billion. The effect of that is that it would average the cash and cash equivalents at the end of the year to 287 billion instead of 141. Meaning you have understated the cash balance by 146 billion. Unless you have an explanation for that. Also, for 2024.
Yeah, just give us a few minutes so we can figure it out here. Yeah, you're right. There is a discrepancy. New placements.
What about the differences of how much?
146 billion.
146 billion.
Look at this one. 110. Okay, if you look at this number, 922 minus 91100. I think it was just displacement. Let me find out.
Do you need a calculator?
So you see here. So there is
Secretariat, do you have a calculator?
3, 4, 6. Yeah, because this one here, you see this number? This one 103, and there is here. So there is a bit of. Yeah,
Need a week to reconcile?
No.
Let's first hear from them.
And this number. Okay. They are not speak together. Okay. But that's because we are looking at the numbers were interposed here, and the new placement deposit and maturities. You can see there.
Nothing else is there.
I think it is between these two numbers.
Are you ready now?
It's between this.
Okay.
Chair, we've looked at the figures. Indeed, they are what the Honorable has shared. What we are going to do, we are going to give the committee a written explanation to this, because these accounts were audited by one of the best. Maybe it is a typo, but allow us 1 day to go and do a proper reconciliation of the figures, and then we give the committee a submission.
Okay, but also take note that whereas I'm accepting a written submission, where we need proper scrutiny, we may need to call you back or invite you back over the same. Since is pledging to reconcile,
let's give them time.
let them reconcile. These are financial.
Now, as we are looking for that, also, don't forget
so this is 146 billion, which was understated.
Yes, then also for 2024, there is this placement of deposits with commercial banks.
Yeah, that's the one.
You have 561, and then you have 922 for 2024.
Yeah.
Then the other side.
I think it's in between the two of them.
Yeah, the other side is 1 billion.
Yeah, we reconcile those two. I think it's just between those two.
So you have noted.
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
Maybe Chair, you have not. I'm sorry, Chair.
Yeah.
We need to know the MD. Is it going to be done by close of business?
No, he said by Friday.
Tomorrow.
By Friday.
By Friday.
Yes.
Okay. By Friday will be done.
Yeah.
But we shall choose when to engage with them next.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, Honorable Kawalia.
Thank you, Chair.
Is your
financial? Because they have already pronounced themselves that they have so far spent 322 billion on pension tower.
So pension tower.
To my understanding, on issues of construction, really, we need more elaboration. If need be, Chair, through you, we need to have a look at the bills of quantities, which made these costs to be high. And mind you, Chair, they had said that at the moment they are on 80% of what they are supposed to construct, 80%. That means that they expect to spend more money on the same project. Chair, we need more elaboration, because we are conducting business on behalf of the people of Uganda, most especially those ones who serve with the fund. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm advised that whereas I need them to answer, at least on the face of it, about the pension tower, we're also going to revisit the rules and the available documentation. If we can also interrogate the value for money audit for the pension tower as a project. But for now, please answer the Honorable.
Chair, I think just information, Chair. I'm sorry to give you information, Chair.
Yes.
Because
information.
as per your guidance earlier,
that you are sending our security personnel to go and visit Temangalo to assure the committee about their safety as you plan to visit. I think even the pensioners hour should also be included. We need to visit some of these properties so that you feel.
Yeah, I think as a committee, it can form part of what we need to visit. But specifically, my direction to our CID was not only to ascertain security for us to visit, but to ascertain the status. Because we have information that the seller, the vendor, is using it for farming. There's some cattle being sighted, and the team could not able to tell whose cattle is real on that particular land. Two, they cannot even tell which part of the land is being used. But at least we heard that the vendor, Ewanunzei Amos, has a house, has cattle, and then that there are some community members with the permission of the caretaker to also use the land. Now, we need police to first do a thorough scrutiny and investigation over that. But as well, I don't know how I can send the police now to the tower when we are destined also to visit it, probably. I believe let them first concentrate on Temangalo.
Okay.
And then for us as a committee, we shall decide how many projects to actually do oversight on as regards NSSF. Additional information? Okay.
Chair, they should also bring a copy of the approval of the Attorney General in regard to the MOU.
Which MOU?
The MOU between Nzei and the NSSF.
MOU or the sale agreement? Or
Exactly.
both?
Both.
Council, I hope you had, from the files you inherited, I hope there is an approval of the agreement or contract by the Attorney General. Is it on file?
Chair, let's check our records and we shall revert.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, yes. You have any quick answer for Honorable Kawaria's question on pension tower?
Yes, thank you, Chair. We will avail a copy of the bills of quantities that explains the costing as it is to date. We are happy to, again, by Friday, to avail it as part of the documents that we have taken note of.
Okay. Yes, Honorable.
Is the restructured one?
There was no payment.
Is it a board or an individual?
There was no payment. The existing loan was the one that was restructured. The loan originally was 11 billion shillings. It accumulated interest to 20 billion. So then now the terms of the repayment was what was then changed. Now, the terms of those payments are actually approved by the board. And by that, it even had to go to the Attorney General because it's a new contract.
Can we have minutes?
Yes, we can.
You have a question on financials? Yes.
Chair, thank you.
Then there is a lot to
Chair, I am
let him pass raise his.
on note 7, where you'll see dividend income. That's on page 31.
Of what? Financials?
Yes. Dividend income.
Okay. Yeah.
That is note 7.
Yes.
There is a decline in dividends. In the last financial year 2024, it was 5 billion point 7. This 2025 is 513. Maybe we need to have some explanation to that.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman, also in addition to that, if you look at note 20, we have accrued interest of 2.9 trillion and also received the interest of 2.5. But when you go to note 5 again, under note 5, they declare interest income as 2.8 trillion.
Which book are you referring to? We have so many books.
Which one are you on?
There are so many, even financial. This one.
Yes, go ahead.
So when you go to note 20,
okay,
you'll find that the last batch, you'll find that accrued interest is 2.9. Interest received is 2.5. You see it?
Yeah, we've seen it.
But again, on note 5, you say interest income is 2.8. So, accrued interest and interest income, that is on note 20 and note 5. Maybe you give an explanation.
Yes, MD.
Okay.
And your team?
Let me get on the first one you raised, which was the dividends from fund managers. Last year, in 2025, what we did was we reduced allocations to fund managers because we now brought a lot of the investments in equity in-house. So the stock of equities they used to hold, especially they were from Kenya, dealing with the Kenya Stock Exchange, reduced, and that's why the dividends from them for that year also came down, because we reduced the stock they were holding. In fact, they had to transfer them back to us, some of the shares that they were holding in their portfolio. That explained why the dividends from fund managers went down compared to the year before. Then we go to this other one here.
Sure. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. Back to the dormant accounts. I think it's prudent enough to, while registering with the NSSF, members always indicate the beneficiaries. So having a dormant account may mean, for some time, it may mean the member no longer exists, but they are beneficiaries during the time of registration. I feel it's beneficial to community if you at the time of publishing, you indicate even the beneficiaries, so that they can say, oh, me, I belong to so and so, it no longer exists, and they approach the facility for benefits. Then I've seen that you increase some interest rate on observers from 12 to 13. That is very good. Don't you think, if possible, if it is sustainable, don't you think if you added one to make 14%, it can be an incentive to attract many savers like these MPs and others than loaning it to a facility where you are not sure of recovery? Thank you.
MD, your response to that?
I will, okay. And I think there's something in finance that you don't do. You can't promise the future. Okay. It's not even allowed professionally. Would want to do that. I wish I could tell you we're going to do this. I think it would be. But even at 13.5%, our members were very happy. Our members were really extremely happy. And it showed in how much more they trusted us in terms of sending more money for us to keep for them. Our Smart Life, which now competes favorably with the unit trusts, like I said, has attracted 106,000 members. And over the last, basically, you're looking at maybe 14 months, 16 months, 174 billion shillings they've saved with them. So yeah, we try to give the members the best we can. And we hope, hopefully, as the future goes and the environment is fine, yeah, we'll go to that 14% or 15%, whatever it is that we can do. But we can't foretell that future.
Honorable Savamala,
Thank you, Honorable Savamala, an ex-official.
Members, Honorable Savamala is not a member of the committee. The rules allows us to admit any member for purpose of any discussion, same for voting.
Yes. And
do we admit him? Yes, the ayes have it.
And I'm sorry for the dress code. I talked to the chairperson about it. I have two questions, or three. One, I want to know how many of your savers can afford your investment in Temangalo. And is it Lubowa? Is it?
Yes.
Yes. How many of your savers have? Because I've seen ghost houses there with no people. But then you have 1.5 million people that are saving. How can you get our money when we cannot afford?
With the ghost houses, you mean empty houses?
Empty houses.
But already constructed.
Because in the construction in Lubowa, I think only around 5 or 6 are taken. I don't know.
No.
Okay, that is for you to answer. The other is
no. Let's get to the facts. How many completed houses do you have in Lubowa?
306.
306.
And 8 as of yesterday are the only ones remaining. 8. No, 8.
Remaining for completion or
no, for sale?
For sale.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's okay. How about Temangalo?
Temangalo, we have not begun selling yet. We are going to have close to 500 homes.
There's also some other small question I want to ask.
Yeah.
Do you have the title for pension house?
Yes, we do.
How about the one of workers' house?
Yes, we do.
Can you, through your chair, can they avail?
Maybe among the
those
documents,
titles?
you also avail us title copies of those properties.
Not copies, originals, because there is an issue on that.
Let them avail copies, then originals we can only inspect. In
When they just come with them, then we shall see them.
Yeah, and we can send our copies for verification.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Within the real estate area portfolio, we've got different level to cater for different demographics that who are our members. Temangalo is going to be one of the most affordable. I can't tell you what the price right now is supposed to be, because that will be precluding whatever. But when you hear that price, you'll be a happy man, because that was specially made to target affordable. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. I have to adjourn this meeting.
Okay, Chair.
Thank you.
One last question.
Thank you. The questions cannot get done today.
Only one, Mr. Chair.
I think we have requested for the NSSF to submit some documents at least by Friday.
Chair, this
we
is
also
just a
intend to
clarification
inspect.
to help.
Please order. I also intend to inspect. We intend as a committee to inspect some projects, to do oversight on them. We shall communicate the dates.
Thank you.
And from our findings and from the responses, we shall choose as and when to have a further interface with you over the same. Okay. But for now, I want to thank you for coming and attending to this invitation. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
For the next 20 minutes, you can have a lunch break. And after 20 minutes, let's come back for our second entity of the day, Nita Uganda. Nita, you. And thank you for honoring our invitation to have an interface over the Auditor General's report. Interestingly, the whole team looks a very youthful team. I hope you are still energetic to respond to all the critical issues, both within the Auditor General's report and arising. Well balanced? But away from that, of course, your report is before us with a number of critical issues. And one key aspect, colleagues have seen a letter, an advisory letter from the clerk on terms of meetings. Our scheduled meetings for this week will proceed as planned. I think for tomorrow we have a meeting. Then as we schedule the subsequent meetings, we shall consult and see how best and where possible to adjust. But as for now, for this week, our scheduled interactions, I think we have one interaction for tomorrow. And I think Friday, we don't have an interaction. But for tomorrow, we have interaction. I guess the relevant documents will be accessed by the members before close of today. Now, back to NITA, we have on behalf of Ugandans and as legislators, of course, it is concerning. Looking through your the Auditor General's report, I think one critical aspect and observation by the Auditor General is on accumulation of areas, domestic areas. You don't want to pay. It presupposes. And your attempt to pay has been also questioned within the Auditor General's report. I'm seeing that your accumulated areas were in the range of 77.1 billion. You planned for payment of 2 billion, but again went to pay 27.58 billion. Now, that represents an overpayment, I think, of around 27.58. Is it? It raises issues and has been highlighted by the Auditor General. Of course, when you look at the areas, it appears there's an increase by 40% in terms of areas. Away from the other overpayment of over almost 25 billion, then you have also an increase in areas. It would be very, very, very vital that in your opening statements and introductory remarks, you hint on that, whereas we shall also interrogate the Auditor General's report and go into the details. I've also come across a concern or a letter. I hope it is not true, of the Uganda Digital Acceleration Project, the project of United States dollars 200 million. The available information in the public is that you are failing to utilize this grant, and I think it also ignited several write-ups from the World Bank, of course, raising concerns over the utilization, the delayed utilization, and what is concerning is that the reports indicate that part of the cause is internal fights, intrigue. Now that you are here and we want to be well certain that all is well in NITA, I think you also need to give us an update. We are praising the team as being young on the face of their appearance. We don't know the age, but the reports are indicating a lot of internal fights, intrigue, that is affecting service delivery. For example, this particular project was supposed to accelerate internet coverage for not only for the public but also for government. I want, in your opening remarks, to give us a better version of what is happening in NITA before we proceed to the Auditor General's report and then the financials. I now invite you to respond with your opening remarks before we go into now your responses.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and thank you, members, for recognizing the gender balance and youthful team that we have at NITA. We score very highly with a QT score, and we are proud of that, to show that IT is not just only for the boy child, but also we have very qualified and leaders in ICT for the ladies, and this is something that we are proud of at NITA, and I thank you for recognizing that. I also would like to appreciate the committee's work in identifying those key areas. This is the areas that you have pointed out, the areas, the domestic area, and also the UDA project. And I will first make a comment on UDAP, Uganda Digital Acceleration Project. This is a facility and our development partner, the World Bank Group, and it was a $2 million facility that was meant to connect and fully connect the country as we stand right now. Although when we started the project, we were below 50% connected in terms of the fiber optic cable across the country. Through the partnership with the World Bank and also another development partner, Exim Bank, and through the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, we formulated a project. This is a GovNet, or Government Network. This was meant to connect 100% of the country with a national backbone. So we're moving from below 50 to 100%. It was also meant to build systems, or the e-government facilities. These are the systems that we use. And also the e-government center, or the data center, build a data center so that we can build systems and also store our data locally. And it was also meant to extend facilities to the underserved and unserved regions and the host and refugee communities. The UDA project, as you have rightly stated, Honorable Chair, yes, there were challenges that were faced. When we started the discussion with the development partner, there were steps that we had to undertake. And part of those steps were the approvals both from the government side and the World Bank side. While the World Bank was quick to approve, and I believe it was approved in May 2024, if I get my facts right, 2022. In May 2022, the government approval took a while to get concluded, and the World Bank's clock starts to count when the board of the World Bank approves. So with that, we were already on the clock, and there were already delays, yet the project had not been commenced. We had to go through a couple of approvals at the ministries level, parliament, cabinet, until when it was concluded and fully operationalized. By the time it was operationalized, 2 years had gone down the road, and the World Bank already flagged it as a problem project. So we went back to Ministry of Finance and even the World Bank and informed them of this challenge. We are operating a project, yet the clock had already started and 2 years were already gone without doing anything on ground. We informed the bank. They took note of the misalignment in approving projects. It was noted that it's not just only with UDAP, but it cuts across all World Bank funded projects. While other development partners, we saw that for them the clock starts when the commencement of works start. An example is the NBI Phase 5 with the Chinese Exim Bank. That project started when the works commenced on ground, and we are on track. While the World Bank project, it was already stated as a problem status. With that, we had to expedite our internal procurement processes and the World Bank processes, but also we noted that still the World Bank procurement process was a hindrance to achieving full success to the project. A case in point, when we are undertaking a procurement, we recognize, or the financing agreement recognizes the procurement laws of the country, but then we follow the World Bank procurement guidelines. In the World Bank procurement guidelines, we have to get no objection from the World Bank before we can begin implementation. Some activities would take close to, I believe there's one that took almost about 15 months for a no objection. And there were a couple of other activities that delayed, and we raised that concern through our ministry, through the Ministry of Finance, who was a guarantor of the loan, and the bank. We had to have a meeting with the bank where they recognized, but then it was within their guidelines, which a bit hard to restructure or to amend. But one of the recommendations was to have their staff come down, because we're working with an offline team in Washington, D.C., but to get procurement faster, they had to restructure their whole IT delivery team, and they came down, and we saw improvement. A couple of other challenges, that is the major factor in the delay of the project. The other challenges, before so I apologize, Honorable Member of Parliament.
He looks like a minister, but but you answer.
We have been similarly voicing that concern to the Ministry of Finance. We have been through the budgeting process, and that's one of the documents we're going to share, to show that we had budgeted for the consumption, fully budgeted for the consumption of arts of the current usage, not that the usage of 2018. It was as of the current financial year usage. This financial year also we have provided a budget recommendation from Ministry of Finance. Within the budget call circular, we also emphasized, and through the cabinet decision, it was emphasized that all government agencies should consume the data or internet from the national backbone, and for us to enable us to utilize the infrastructure that government has set up. We also took it further to engage the Ministry of Finance to specifically, because one of the issues that we are facing is, while the budget for some agencies is consolidated, that's the one that they consolidated, but it was only for the 400 agencies. Now we are close to, by end of this financial year, we'll be in about 2,000 agencies. It has grown up, and usage has also grown up. So the consolidation, the allocation of budget, Ministry of Finance, we've been working with them to ensure that they consolidate and allocate more funds to the agencies that are consuming this data. But there's also the issue of the budget in terms of the accounting ledgers, or the challenges that Finance was saying, that they provide a holistic budget entry or entry value to each agency. We want to categorize what needs to be allocated to the agency, so that those agencies don't take the budget as ICT and then they begin procuring on other services, yet they're not paying for internet. So the internet accounting ledger code was also formed within the accounting system, so that when they allocate money to those agencies, they are not supposed to reallocate, or they should not pay for their, or they should not default in paying for their internet. But we also been engaging the agencies. We have the demand notes from as back as 2023, when the spike increased. All that evidence, Honorable Chair, we will be sharing that with you. Honorable Chair, on the categorization of the different types of internet purchases, or the kind of internet that is utilized on the backbone, I would like to call the Director of Technical Service to articulate it for the members. Director.
Thank you, Chair, and members. So in terms of provision of the internet, one of the things that Cabinet did as far as 2012-2013 was to rationalize resources under the NBI, and so Cabinet approved a strategy through which NITA-U, or the sector, ICT sector, can provide services to the entities. And the NBI was made as one of the primary vehicles for all government data, including hosting, applications and the like. Now, specifically for internet, which is being provisioned from the backbone, we procure internet in the spirit of creating synergy. Instead of every government entity going to either private company, government through cabinet thought it wise to consolidate this requirement under the NBI, that every government entity must be connected under the backbone, through the backbone. And so part of that strategy was to purchase or procure bulk internet bandwidth through which then we would distribute to the respective government entities. And so we buy from the upstream, we purchase from bulk internet from the upstream, which we then distribute through the backbone as we continue the rollout. So we have what we call the upstream bandwidth from the upstream, the undersea cable, which ED has been talking about, and then we distribute it through our network to the end users, which is the government entities. And of course, that is what now the end users actually consume. And these issues that are coming up is the capacity that is being consumed by the individual entities. But as government from NITAU side, we have that capacity which we purchased under the projects. So we have a long-term agreement with those undersea cable providers so that we can continue with the provision. So currently, what we are talking about here is the internet which is actually utilized. We've signed long-term contracts with the upstream of about 15 years, over 15 years, and because of our growth, the growth has actually been increasing. And like Edie has said, during we saw a spike because government entities were putting services online. Previously, someone would walk through, say you're applying for a passport. You have to fill a form and go to, say, NIRA or Directorate of Immigration. But now these are things that you can now do within the comfort of your, you can actually apply for this. So we saw during COVID that many government entities were actually putting their services now online as compared to the time when we started providing services in 2013-14 through the backbone. So that spike, that increase is actually what we're talking about here. That utilization has increased over time, and then there's a need also for government to plan in terms of the entities must be encouraged to plan for this, for their utilization. Every financial year we do an assessment of the respective government entities to understand their usage, because many of them are also developing solutions that need to be put onto the internet, which can be accessed online. So we do some assessment with them, and while we are providing this service, we ensure that we test, but in the process of testing, it gives us what capacity then can we give these entities. But again, the challenge is, while much as they want a higher utilization, resources are limited. There are constraints in terms of budgeting, and that's where we find some of these challenges, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Nangoli.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Chair, in relation to what Honorable Naki asked,
You could not ably avail this documentation, or you worked on it after the auditor had raised it as a concern?
No, sir, the communication is on file, and we'll avail the copies of the communication to you.
Communication to who?
Yes.
Is it communication or approval?
Both communication and approval from Ministry of Finance.
Was it after the audit, before the audit?
Before the audit.
Did you avail the same to the auditors or not?
Yes, we did.
So are you saying the auditors kept, because they captured your response, that NITAU has consistently engaged the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, submitted schedules for domestic areas. I don't see any response in relation to approval among your response to the Auditor General. Are you sure you are being honest?
Yes, Chair, we're being honest.
How come you didn't respond the same way to the auditors?
It may have been a gap in communication, but we shall avail it. So,
Could you avail the relevant documentation? Do you have copies here or you didn't carry?
we have some copies.
We have some copies, Honorable Chair, but yes, during the audit, we provided these same copies to the auditors. Their response, that is what we received, but the copies were also on record during the
So you have proof submitting the same to the auditors?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
How do they receive? They stamp? How do they receive?
We usually receive them at...
Minister of Finance stamps every letter that they receive.
I mean, when you said you provided them to the auditors, how did the auditors receive?
It's a physical copy.
Are you the one who delivered to the auditors?
I work with a group, and among the members who works with the auditors closely is a colleague.
Is he among here?
Yes,
Where is that person?
He's right next to me.
Oh, please access the mic. What documents did you avail the auditor?
Thank you, Chair. These are the auditors. Usually they work from our offices.
You can put the microphone closer.
Is it on? It's on. Okay, thank you. Okay. So we deliver these documents to the offices, not to the office of the Auditor General, but when they, during the period of audit, we deliver all the necessary documents. I think it was a matter of concern to them charging the current year budget instead of the domestic areas. Yes, it was a matter of concern. So yes, we had the documents and they were delivered to them.
This is no. Now, you always talk about exit meetings.
Chair, thank you so much. The younger man has just said that there is always a casual discussion between him and not so. But normally during exit meetings, all the things are supposed to be highlighted. They are supposed to be brought on board. And then it's the duty of the auditors to see which one they bring on board and they drop. But now it's like you are not very sure whether you gave them the documents because they are supposed to acknowledge receipt that you have given this. It may not be a stamp, but acknowledge receipt. Like when you bring our documents to the clerk, he must acknowledge receipt. And if at all it was not done, then you should be able to provide to the committee.
But in any case, where are those documents? Where are those approvals?
So if they are here, you can
let's have a look.
Provide them. We have a look.
Chair.
Or if not, you ask for some time and you bring them.
Chair, we are dealing with the National Information Technology Authority, and they say they are driving the IT revolution. So really, I think you should be having these things online. It's just a matter of logging in, because if you are encouraging the country to develop from a 60 billion economy to a 500 billion economy, and you cannot access these documents online, then I think there could be a problem that the user department is not guiding the country well when it comes to IT services. Really, I find it quite interesting.
You said you have copies. Could you share with us those copies?
Yes, Honorable Chairs, we have copies and also others are online.
No, we cannot confiscate your computer. We want physical copies because these are approvals from a different ministry.
The ones on online, Chair.
Another approval.
Is another missing approval, Chair.
Let the MD first speak to those you have. Which one are you delivering? You mentioned which document are you delivering?
This was a request to Minister of Finance on the domestic area, and we
dated
had
what?
Provided. This was dated December 2025.
Yes,
and
by
from NITA,
yes,
National Authority, where we listed the detailed and verified entries for that led up to the domestic area of 109 billion Ugandan shillings, and also the demand notice and there are continuous correspondences between the Ministry of Finance on the allocation
Chair. Let him first introduce his documents. We need to access them.
Introduce the documents, then you can ask.
And we kept on requesting even up to
So there are several request letters.
Yes, there are several request letters.
Yeah, you reach approval. After the request, where is the approval?
The approval, that is what is on the system that we to print out.
The approval was from who?
From Minister of Finance.
Signed by?
Signed as PSST.
It is not possible.
Chair,
Yes. There's one thing I'm not understanding in this whole matter. Because when we talk about allocation, it is a duty of Parliament. I expected at least a document from them confirming that maybe a supplementary budget was brought before Parliament to take that decision. But I've not heard the big man talking about the supplementary budget.
By big man, you mean the MD?
The MD.
Is the
ED? Yeah, or ED.
ED.
So kindly, because allocation is a duty of Parliament, it's not a duty of Minister of Finance.
Yes.
You've been discussing about Minister of Finance, PSST. We want to hear the role of Parliament in this whole matter.
Had you identified all your documents? Apart from the approval?
Honorable Chair, yes, I have. I request to...
Let's receive those. You can verify. Yes. Now, which document are you talking about? The approval is from what?
Section 19.
Honorable Chair, yes, that is one of the documents, but we also have the approval on the supplementary budget.
The approval, before, we can't receive it in soft copy. First read the content.
Supplementary budget of Uganda shillings 21,966 million for National Information Technology Authority, NITA, under vote 126 to cater for the part payment of the outstanding obligation for the provision of internet services across government agencies. Reference is made to the meeting that was held on this, the engagements that we have been always having with the ministry. That was held on the 9th of February 2026 to discuss the issue, the issue of budgeting.
But now that you say we need a hard copy of that, but now that you say it was approving for you a supplementary of 21 billion.
Yes.
Now, the amount in question is 27 billion, which you paid.
Yes.
Your area allocation is 2 billion. When we add 21 on the 2 billion, that's how much? That's 23 billion.
24.
Approximately 23 or 24. You said 24. Now, the total amount you paid is 27.5. You came with printed copies because this was the first query in the intelligence report, and I would have expected you to prepare with physical copies. Now, we have now 4 billion in question. Where is the approval for 4 billion? In case that approval for 21 actually exists. But as they locate that one, Honorable Bruce.
Thank you, Chair. And I just want to take them back to their document, Chair, on page 17.
You are moving fast.
It speaks to what exactly you're talking about.
Yes.
They are speaking about domestic, they are speaking about additional budget, which was adjusted supplementary. Now, when you look at their document on page 17, statement of appropriation based on classification of expenditure by nature in that financial year, the money provided, the 18 billion, is actually not on domestic carriers. It is on goods and services consumed in that financial year. The domestic area component below there in the fourth last line is empty. They have 2 billion they budgeted for. They never received money for this, and there was no adjustment by law on this.
by what government provided. So even if they paid the 18 as domestic carriers, or the difference you're asking for, the money provided to them was not for domestic carriers, but for goods and services according to the classification in their own document.
I think it also speaks to approvals. If there were changes made within the expenditure line.
Any payment to domestic carriers beyond the 2 billion is all irregular because the approval does not go beyond the 2 billion.
Maybe now it's a question of approval. You can access the microphone. We are here. Yes?
Yes, Honorable Chair, we had an approved supplementary budget of 18 billion.
18 billion?
Yes.
Yes.
And we have a letter. Unfortunately, it's not a hard copy, but we'll avail it. It came all the way to Parliament and it was approved. And then Finance sent us the funding.
So you have to
and our point, Chair, is that the approval of 18 is for goods and services, not for domestic carriers.
Let's understand where we are. We had 25 billion, 21 billion, yes, according to your first letter, which you are citing. There's another one approving to 18 billion.
There is no 21, it is 18, Chair.
No, it is their response. Now we are trying to examine if they have evidence on their responses.
So, Chair, the 21.9 was received in financial year 2025-2026. Okay? To bring down our domestic carriers.
So the approval you are referring to is for the subsequent financial year?
Yes. Then the 18 billion applies to financial year 2024-2025.
So now that is the one we are considering. This is the challenge we are having. Now we are asking you about 2024, 2025. Yes. The letter which you haven't submitted, you are reading 21 billion, presumably for 2024, 2025. Now you are rectifying, you are correcting the record.
Chair, the reason why we share the 21.9 is to show the movement in the domestic carriers position.
No. This audit is for 2024, 2025. We expect that you avail evidence of approval before you spend this 27, this 25 billion. 0.58. We need those copies. We need the approval. Otherwise, there is no justification. You may be even whether they are ready or not. It's a question of accountability. Once you are invited, you either have the evidence or not. Yes, Honorable.
Chair, approvals and the evidence from the ministry. I've had an opportunity to peruse through all the audit queries and the responses of NITA-U. You will notice that on every query, NITA-U is saying they got clearance, their engagements with the ministry. You can see we are granted subventions and everything. I note that almost on every query we shall get to, they will say they are not prepared with the documents. All the items I've perused through. Following engagements with the ministry, following clearance, following what, but they don't have the evidence to put on table. Chair, I want you to guide if we are proceeding well without all
we are
this
proceeding
evidence
well because for every Auditor General's query or observation, we shall seek for clarity, and this is offering them a benefit of doubt. That whereas the Auditor General said so,
but every document, Chair, is not here under me.
We cannot discuss other issues in anticipation. Let's address issue by issue and get a response issue by issue. So, in terms of the first aspect, you haven't availed evidence so far. You have a motion? Yes?
Chair, the motion I'm having, Robert Secretary is my name. I represent Bamnanika County Rural District. Chair, the motion I'm interested to lay is that with the support of honorable members, we give these people time to go back, rearrange, because we are going to take a lot of time on them. yet everything is pending. And we may have even a whole day without a solution, because our solution would be on a document. And if that is the case with your support, that's why I mentioned that these people should be guided to go and come back when they are prepared. I beg your ruling on that.
I second the motion.
Yes, Honorable Kawalia.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I stand here to second the motion moved by Honorable Sechitoleko, because when you read through the document which this team has submitted before us, there is no single matter where they have concluded the query. There is no single query which has been addressed conclusively. So it's the main reason why I have to support the motion moved by Honorable Member.
Yes, Honorable. Thank you, Chair. Chair, looking at the demeanor even of the second in command, the way she's looking at the computer.
Are you a body language expert?
Yes, I am looking at the way she's moving the mouth of the laptop in consultation with her colleague. I don't think these people are ready. So for that matter, I second the motion that these people go ahead and prepare.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also, on the same note, second the motion, because without justification, we are wasting our time. Thank you.
Chair.
Yes.
I do second the motion because, Chair, there are quite a number of documents that you have asked the ED and his team. They have some online. The clerk is not around. We would have said that they transfer direct to the clerk so that he's able to print. He has stepped out briefly. And to me, I would request the Chair through you that you give them some time. They go back and reorganize, because it's good we have told them what we need. Most of the things, especially on accountability committee like this, they are evidence-based. You are supposed to provide evidence. If you say there have been engagements with the Ministry of Finance, you give evidence, because it's not verbal. If you say there are parliamentary approvals, you give evidence that indeed we approved, especially some of us who have been here before in 11th Parliament. Maybe we are the ones who approved that we have forgotten. It also happens. But when you remind us with evidence, we shall be able to recall and say, yeah, we passed it here. So, Chair, I put it across that please give the entity more time. They're going to organize. We have 6 months to consider these things. We have just been given time, 6 months, to interface with the entities. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Now, let me guide. If looking through all observations by the Auditor General, they speak to one fact, that various aspects and expenditures are in question. Our ordinary expectation was for NITAU to appear with the supportive documents. And this is an audit of 2024-2025. You were even supposed to appear earlier. These reports have just been reinstituted. Our expectation was that when you coming to appear, you would prepare to justify. Because you cannot say you gave the auditors, but they didn't consider these positions. But also, when you come before the committee, you cannot showcase in hard copy or proof that actually these documents exist, so that you can now vary or respond to the observations of the Auditor General. Now, it is very hard to believe that the documents exist. Even when you attempt to show us on your laptop, the Committee of Parliament cannot receive by sight. We must receive physical copies, which you must own. That actually these are copies from NITAU. Otherwise, you can show us a draft and deny it tomorrow. You cannot. I saw her carrying a laptop for us to view. Of course, maybe it was diligence that let me show you it exists. But no,
That's not the procedure. Now that these documents exist, and in circumstances that there is a motion moved by members and supported, I would rule as follows. One, we are sending you back, not because you are unprepared, but because it is mandatory for you to account for this vote. And there is not enough time for preparation. I don't want to believe that you were unaware that you had to provide backup evidence and documents because you offered explanation in words. Any allegation you make of any approval must be substantiated. Interestingly, in your response, you did not say that you secured approval. You are only raising it now. So I'm sending you back to organize the documents. It is now 4 p.m. We have CID here. I want CID to accompany you and receive the documents today. The CID will accompany you to your office and back, so that these documents are delivered today. Then we shall not communicate to you the most appropriate time to engage with you further. But because you had a full year to prepare a response, ordinarily we were supposed to meet you last week and we extended to this week. Still you came without the documents. From your own submission that you have the documents, I want the CID to accompany you, get the documents, you return and submit through our secretariat so that they are received formally. I don't want them to be received by police, but police to accompany you to your offices. You return with the documents, submit, so that we can now form opinion on when we can have engagements with you. For now, we believe the documents exist. We are according you that benefit, but we are constrained to move because these are substantial figures in billions, and ordinarily it requires approval. Where you think that you need further explanation, please put it in writing to inform us before we choose when and how to invite you. Make an elaborate response. Of course, there was a concern over your response, repeatedly saying the same thing. But please, yes.
Chair, I would suggest that since this is our first engagement with them, you give them up to tomorrow to present the documents to your clerk.
No.
No, I don't support that.
Chair, additional information, Chair.
No.
Chair, who is saying no?
Okay, Honorable, let us start.
Mr. Chairman, I was the first on the mic. Mr. Chairman, we are interfacing with NITAU for the first time. Today is 29th. You have already said it is already at 4. For us giving our CIDs to accompany NITAU to go and bring documents, if there were issues that we are doubting, which we would even handle internally, that maybe those documents are missing, we would give them a benefit of doubt up to, because it's already 4, given the jam. I don't even where the offices are. Where are your offices? No, Chair, kindly let me finish, Chair.
If you want to
where are your offices?
Offer them defense,
no, I'm not offering them defense.
No, you're out of order. I saw rule, CID accompany them, we need the documents now, because they exist. Meeting adjourned.